It looks like we're live. Happy New Year to everyone. Yes, I was probably not going to do a live stream this weekend because I couldn't do it. I can't do it on Sunday this weekend. But with what's happened well, not overnight, very early in the morning, London time in Venezuela, I thought it'd be interesting to talk to you guys about what's happened in Venezuela. I'm gonna hold judgment of whether it's right or wrong. Well, actually, I think it's wrong, invading another sovereign nation and kidnapping its leader and his wife. But be as it may, I think it could have happened under any president, especially in the times that we live. We are living in the middle of the fourth turning, so things are going to get even more disruptive. So what I'm trying to say is that this is just a symptom of the chaos and turbulence that I expect to continue, not just in America's backyard, but also throughout the world. It's going to get worse and worse. And it's the reason why I said de-dollarization will accelerate. I have no doubt that it will because other countries are going to see this. They saw already what happened in 2022 when Russia's reserves were frozen. And now the fact that the United States can just go and kidnap a world leader, a leader of another country, and bring him to trial in probably the what I've heard is a very corrupt court in New York, the Southern District Court of New York. It's just, I think the rest of the world, we have to look at things in context, and the rest of the world is going to see that. They're going to want even more physical gold and silver. Contracts don't mean anything anymore. And fiat currency is nothing but a contract. Yes, we're going to get a lot of propaganda, a lot of things. It's early days. It's a little bit like when not Trump, George Bush Jr. stood in that uh, carrier and said mission accomplished in Iraq. I think we're far from seeing, Venezuela is not done yet. I think, unfortunately for Americans, President Trump has opened a can of worms. And what do wars mean? Wars mean more treasure wasted, more deaths, more inflation. So that's why I said got gold or silver. Am I saying gold and silver are going to go through the roof tomorrow in about, let's say, just over 24 hours and it opens? I don't know because these people can do anything to mask the real price of gold and silver, and they've been doing it anyway. We're hearing of silver trading at 90 or 100 in the Middle East or Far East, while it's still trading around 72 on the screen in New York and London. So thank you, everyone, for showing up. I know that I usually do it on a Sunday. Maybe we'll change it for Saturday, depending how it goes, and if you guys prefer a Saturday. So I have invited a few people over, but I'm not sure if they'll come on the live stream. I might be all on my own, but that doesn't matter. Paul Walker says, oil corporations are celebrated. Don't be naive. I don't know if he's talking to me about that. I know that's true. I agree with you. I don't think it's just about the oil, though. It's about showing Russia and China who's in charge in the Western Hemisphere, even though I guess China could argue the same thing about Taiwan. Who should be in charge of Taiwan? Should I saw the other day Canadian ships, Navy ships, were pushing, trying to tell Chinese ships in the Taiwan Straits to get off the strait, so I think things are going to get very turbulent, chaotic, and this is just a symptom of it. Venezuela might be just the first country they go after. Maybe they'll go after Iceland as well. Maybe they'll go after Iran. Who knows where they're going to stop? And I don't think the American people voted for this, really, to be honest. But unfortunately, it seems like the neocons, let's say, stronghold on the U.S. government is still very strong. Yeah, and that's all I can say. So I'll take your questions. I mean, this is good to be this can be a really good Q&A. So make sure you ask as many questions as you want. I'll try to answer your questions about geopolitics as well. So Virgin Ray DeVito, Americans literally voted for the opposite. Well, there you go. Christine Mose, Taiwan is in the crosshairs just as silver. That was the first thing I thought. I thought Virgin Ray. Well, Taiwan, they better watch out now. Lee Polden, good evening, Mario from Australia. Love your work. Thank you. Let me see here if I can slow down the chat. Yeah. Anyway, someone has to feed and support Cuba. Taiwan is in the crosshairs. Hold my beer. Maria Corina Machado is the legitimate leader of Venezuela. I have no problem with what happened this morning. Is that the woman who won the Nobel War Prize? Uh, was there an election for her? Not sure why she's legitimate, but anyway, as it goes now, I don't think democracy or representative government matters anymore. What matters is like who's got the power and the money to do things in the world, and that's why I've been trying to warn my viewers about the monetary system so that you can try to be somewhat sovereign because as you can see, Venezuela, their economy has been in the doldrums for over a decade, and yeah, this is what happens. I've got super chat here. Kevin Low, 1LE, thank you. Maduro was going to join BRICS, sitting on 325 billion barrels of oil and rare earth, nothing to do with drugs. Oh, yeah, no, I agree with that. He was also very anti-Israel. I don't think that helped him either, or anti-Zionist, really, if you want to be more specific. Eric Johnson, thank you for your super chat. When fiat goes bad in the US, what replaces it? How do you mortgage it? Well, what replaces it has to be sound money, Eric, gold and silver. I mean, the currency will still be there, but it will need to be redeemable or at least backed by real money. So that's what happens when fiat goes bad. And historically, it's always the same. Gold and silver come back. One species, Mario, are you aware that Venezuela oil dates to America from 1800s? Is that to South America or do you mean the United States? Because America can mean anything. It can mean North America, South America, Central America. What America are you talking about here, one species? Yeah, I did invite Clive, but he's still on holiday. He might show up. Who knows? I haven't heard back from him. I did send him a Zoom link. Samantha 9313, will this strengthen the dollar? It could in the short term, but I think longer term, the dollar is going south. Not because of what's happening geopolitically, but because I think the U.S. economy is going downhill quickly. And I think the jobs numbers that are coming out next Friday are going to show that. I think the Fed's going to have to cut rates aggressively. They could even do an intra-meeting cut. Silver to gap up. You mean tomorrow, B Woods? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to gold and silver. I would say they would go up, but with a gold and silver market, you never know. But longer term, I'm not getting rid of my gold and silver. That's for sure. Or the miners. So we got Rudy there. There he is. Rudy, say hello. It's quite very cold here. I mean, it's around 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which might not sound cold, but for here it's very cold. And Rudy this morning didn't really, we went for a walk, but he didn't want to go for a very long walk. So my wife and I decided to buy him like a coat to put on. So this afternoon, I put the coat on him and we went out. He wouldn't walk with it, so I had to take it off and he walked. I don't think he feels cold. I don't know. He's just a funny dog sometimes. Does Venezuela have silver? Probably Hillary Simpson. I think Venezuela has a lot of natural resources and it's quite a big country. Hannah, question for Mario. Are there silver mines in Venezuela? Yeah, probably not right now. I mean, their economy there is pretty much in the doldrums, but there there's potential for silver mines there. Joe Bob, Mario is an MI6 agent straight out of the Q Institute. Oh, you can be further from the truth with that. I'm not an MI6 agent, that's for sure. Nashville pasta man. No, I mean Billy. We bought him a coat years ago, the previous dog, and he didn't like it either. They just don't like at least our dogs. They hate coats. So anyway. Vince Lancy thinks Venezuela was being used to ship silver concentrate to China. That's possible. I mean, I think China and other countries, not, yeah, they're all buying a lot of silver directly from mines because the physical silver in the LBMA on COMEX wasn't there. And it had been hypothecated. Uh, Pablo Peanut, yeah, Rudy doesn't like coats yet as well. I was just talking about that. We put him a coat on him today, and he didn't like it. Wouldn't walk. Mike says, Mike 930-806, Venezuela does have silver deposits, but it has much more gold reserves. Probably, I mean, there's quite a bit of gold in Guyana, right next to Venezuela, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of gold in Venezuela as well. Well, there's a lot of crude oil, heavy crude. They've got the biggest crude reserves on the planet. John Cook, thank you for his super chat. Over the next 3 years, everything will be tokenized. We'll see about that. I'm not too sure about that. Uh, Nashville Passman bought 60 ounces of gold on Costco for 80 dollars, 80 ounces this week, $80 this week, money back. Do you mean 60 ounces of silver for $80, Nashville Pasta Man? I would be buying 60 ounces of gold for $80. Teresa Dixon, the Nobel Peace Prize winner in 2025, is the leader of Venezuela's opposition party. Yeah, she was given that a few months ago. I never heard of the woman. There was another guy there that was supposed to be the real president, and he left, I think last year. I forgot his name. Low blood pressure, matter why, don't you get Rudy a fur coat made of from cats? Yeah, he might like that. Sultan Vinegar says this is good news for my oil and gold. Well, some people think the oil price might go down on the back of this, even though Trump is saying that they will need to invest a lot of time and money to get the Venezuelan oil infrastructure going again. But who knows? I think the reason this is going to be might might push gold and silver higher is because it means less certainty, less rule of law. I mean, a lot of people, especially Americans, they've been told that this has been done all above board. But I think the rest of the world, most of the rest of the world, sees this as an illegal act. And I think the rule of law is out the window in terms of international law now. And that's why I think when things are like that, fiat currency doesn't really do well. You really do need gold and silver to back things up. That's the way I see it. Drone H2I, is there any legal basis for a regime change in Venezuela? Is that something the holder of the world's reserve currency should do? Uh, I personally don't think so, but people might have different opinions. WTU is asking what international law? Yeah, that's right. There is no real international law. I could think of many other leaders that should be arrested and tried, and yet they're still in office. I think it's all about politics. It's all about if a leader is friendly to America or friendly to China or Russia, those countries will treat them well, respectively. If they double cross them, they will find the consequences. It's a realpolitik, right? Which is something that Henry Kissinger made up. That's his uh, like theory or philosophy. Adrian, hi Mary, how much silver should be enough for people who live sparingly? I mean, it all depends on the purchasing power. It's becoming less and less. I mean, I would say having if you're able to have like a few hundred ounces, that should be good. 1,000 is even better. I think 1,000 or 1,500. Very few people have that much. So. Hopefully you've been stacking before we traded above 50. People had plenty of time to buy a lot of silver. It was really cheap. Unfortunately, I think it's going to get really expensive. Low blood pressure. Mario, do you like American democracy yet? Well, no, not really, because America is supposed to be a republic. The founding fathers created America as a republic, not a democracy. And I don't think George Washington would have approved of what happened today in Venezuela. I think in his farewell address, he said that the United States should have friendly commercial relations with other nations, and that they should not have entangling alliances with anyone. So, yeah. So I don't think America is a democracy anymore. I heard Judge Napolitano saying that America or Jeffrey Sachs, one of those two, saying that America is not a constitutional republic anymore. So yeah, so what is America? Well, I think America is run by the military industrial intelligence complex. And the elections you have every 2 to 4 years is just for show. I'm sorry to say that. And it's the same thing here in the UK. That's the way I see it. Uh, I like America because I have a lot of American friends. Most of a big chunk of my viewers are from the US, but you can still kind of the saying, I love my country, but I hate my government, right? And I think a lot of Americans probably feel like that. And unfortunately, which the thing that is a bit disappointing is that Trump was supposed to be changing all that, but for some reason he's just the same as all the other ones, which is very disappointing. Probably not very popular, what I've just said, but it's what I believe in. So that's the way I see it. Corporate fascism, yeah, I guess so. That's a good description. What do you think of the democracy of the UK? Well, it's not a democracy either. As I said, it's not any. I don't think any country, maybe Switzerland might be closer to a democracy, and I'm not even sure democracy is a good system, because in the democracy, the 51% vote to take property away from the 49%, and that's always a bad thing. Mohammad Mossadegh, yeah, 1953, I think, in Iran. He wanted to not even nationalize the oil, but he wanted to tax British petroleum on the oil that it was extracting from Iran. And the British asked the CIA to get rid of him and put the Shah of Iran in power. He was in power till 1979. He was actually becoming a bit of a problem for the powers that be, the Shah of Iran. And that's why they got rid of him as well. And then they put in the religious fanatics in Iran. And yeah, that's how it works. And they asked, well, and they saw that it backfired, so they asked Saddam Hussein to go and fight against Iran. There's a picture of Donald Rumsfeld shaking hands in the 80s with Saddam Hussein, and then when Saddam Hussein became a liability for the military intelligence industrial complex, he was gotten rid of. So there you go. The thing about what's happened in Venezuela is the easy part has been done, is to get rid of Maduro. I think the difficult part is still ahead. I don't think it's going to be smooth, plain sailing. Yeah, so that's how I see it. Dr. Hemp 73, thank you for everything you do. Any thoughts on secret meeting recently to keep silver under 75? I'm not sure there was a secret meeting. That was according to the AI Asian guy. Uh, and the AI Asian guy says a lot of things that are true, but he also makes up a lot of stuff which he can't verify. So I'm not sure there was a secret meeting to keep silver under 75. Oh yeah, warning signs 4526. Trump New Year's Eve photo. Nero fiddles while Rome burns. Melania in the silver gown. fiddler in the background, and many candles represent burning. Yeah, I saw that dress she was wearing. You could argue as well during the festive season, women like wearing glittery silver dresses. So who knows? But yeah, they had the IO Silver music on as well. So who knows? BATL4YG says half of Berlin have no electricity. Well, that's interesting. It's interesting. The other interesting thing about talking about Berlin is that during the Cold War, when Germany was divided between the Federal Republic and the Democratic Republic, or West and East Germany, East Germany was the communist Germany, and West Germany was the capitalist Western Germany. Did you know that actually West Germany bought their natural gas and their oil from the Soviet Union? I find that quite interesting. And now they won't buy any kind of energy from the Russians, and they're not communists anymore. Anyway, a lot of things don't make sense. It's because we're not told the truth. A lot of the stuff we're told is just to for management of perception and psyops for the public. But if you look at it like that, if you look back and say this doesn't make sense, right? Bruno Onrat, thank you for your super chat. Alex Wells says Donald throwing his weight around. I don't even think the guy is 100% in charge. He's just a figurehead. I think there are a lot of other people behind uh, what we saw in Venezuela. People like Marco Rubio. He's like a Bush, peon, I would say. I was surprised when Trump made him Secretary of State. I think it was Matt Gaetz was supposed to be Secretary of State, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but they got rid of him because he was didn't play ball with the powers that be. And Marco Rubio, his family is from Cuba, and maybe Cuba will be next. Maybe they will go there and take over Cuba. Did you know that all the casinos prior to the Cuban Revolution were owned by the mafia, U.S. Well, I think it was the Italian and the Jewish mafia from the U.S. They own all the casinos in Cuba, so maybe they'll get their casinos back. Stephen Montplaisir, thank you for your super chat. Every dollar you hold is a short on the silver you also hold. Sell your dollars for silver as long. Yeah, and every dollar you hold, like paper dollar, you're financing this criminal government, really, because that's what it is. I'm sorry to say. And I say the same thing about the government here in the UK, the government in the EU, they're all criminal. And if you hold fiat currency, that means you're financing them. I know I have to have some for daily transactions and for running my business, but if I didn't have to, I wouldn't. Uh, Sleeping so sound. How many more times can COMEX crash the price of silver? Do you think the margin changes are losing effect? Yes, definitely. I think they raised it by 30% the last time they did. I think it was was it yesterday or the day before? I forget exactly. I thought silver should have been down to 60 and it only got down to 70. And yesterday we traded around 72, 73. So yeah, it's losing its effect because it's all about physical and the rest of the world is scouring the planet for physical and they don't care about COMEX and the paper. So COMEX and the LBMA as well, they're going to become, in my opinion, more and more irrelevant unless they start playing the physical game. Trebar with 438, is this a geopolitical land grab or purely for the minerals? Well, both are the same, aren't they? A land grab eh, eh, or minerals. You grab land because you want the minerals in the land. I think partly is that. Partly is also, how can I say, a signal to Russia, China, and the BRICS in general that America, the US, won't stand, excuse me, for another power in the Western Hemisphere. The Monroe Doctrine, and recently the Trump administration published this national security paper, this new uh, national security, I forgot exactly what it's called, and it said that. But the question that a lot of people, a lot of other countries, not in the Western Hemisphere or even in the, are going to ask, so if America is supposed to be in charge of the Western Hemisphere, i.e., the North and South America and Greenland, because it's in the Western Hemisphere, why should they be in Asia, in Southeast Asia? So I think that's the big problem. That's where the geopolitical conflagrations could come in. And why should America also be heavily involved in the Middle East? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, right? Low blood pressure says Venezuela was promised to America in the Torah. Well, I haven't heard that one. I think you're being a little bit sarcastic there. Uh, Morgan Marooster, I saw a video saying the U.S. stole 800 tons of silver from Venezuela. Could it? 800 tons. It's possible. I mean, they probably went to the Venezuelan central bank as well and got their gold because back in 2011, Venezuela repatriated like 100 tons of gold from the Bank of England. Yes, they still have some gold left at the Bank of England that is frozen, but I remember Chavez, the previous leader of Venezuela before Maduro, he repatriated, yeah, about 100 tons from the Bank of England, and he did that during the beginning of 2011, the summer of 2011, and that's when gold went from like 12, 1400 to 1900. So it made a huge difference. And surprisingly, Chavez died a year or two after from cancer, right? So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if America this time around they haven't gone to, well, Trump said they're going to be running Venezuela, so they can very easily go to the central bank, take their gold and yeah, take it to the COMEX. That's a good point, actually. Sleeping So Sound says, "Thank you, Mario. You are a gentleman and a scholar." Oh, thank you. And you're welcome. ACRE9EE. I hear that the US currency is going to fall all the time, being hearing it for 30 years, never seen it seems to happen. Well, it's happening. In the last 12 months, it's fallen by 64% versus real money. And that is gold. And that's not me who said that. It was JP Morgan back in 1913 when asked in Congress under oath what gold was. He said it's money and everything else is credit. So don't be fooled. US currency is falling. But it's not just the US currency, it's every fiat currency in the world that's falling. Comment here, where is it? Demolition Dan. Please stay real, Mary. Never let your channel be narrated by AI. No, I wouldn't. The only thing I use for AI is I use AI to make some thumbnails, the artwork. That's about it. Bradley, will Maduro will catch up to his silver later? When does Russia get its 300 billion US treasuries back? I don't think they're counting on ever getting it back. It's difficult to say what the oil price or anything will do tomorrow, really. I mean, a lot of people that I talk to, friends, a good friend that is in gold and silver, he thinks it's going to go through the roof tomorrow. But I've learned, following markets for decades, that nothing is certain, and that, this attack was not done on late Friday US time, early Friday Venezuelan time, by accident. It was done at this time because it was just after the markets closed in the US, and it gives the powers that be in the US, the Treasury, the Fed, regulators, enough time to prepare for the open tomorrow. So what I mean, there will be probably a lot of manipulation. You probably see oil drop, the stock market go through the roof, and gold and silver might even come off. But I think longer term, we're going to get higher yields in the US, lower dollar, higher gold and silver price, and higher oil prices and commodity prices. That's how I see it. Zahir Hussein, why did China do nothing? Well, I think it came as a surprise. I saw that there was a Chinese delegation, a Chinese official meeting Maduro a few hours before he was kidnapped, basically, or taken or captured. So that, and I'm not sure if the Chinese delegation is still probably in Venezuela. I think the Chinese, yeah, and the Russians, they're not amateurs. They're not gonna like react on a whim. Yeah, they'll take their time, you know. And I'm not pro Russia, pro Chinese or anything, but revenge. There's a saying, "Revenge is best served cold," right? It's like whenever people don't expect. So I think for the Chinese to react right away, is a bit silly, and I think they know that. Full of hope. Hi, full of hope. Haven't seen you in a while here. Deal done. You get Venezuela, we get Taiwan. That's possible. That's a good one. Cool brother G541. It's been 35 years to the date since Panama President Noriega was arrested on the same date that Maduro was arrested on January 3rd, 1990. That's interesting. And Noriega was a CIA guy as well. But then he turned on them, and they got rid of him. And I had a very good client when I worked in the city. He was originally from Panama, and he told me that I think 1,000 civilians were killed because the Americans came and they bombarded the neighborhood I think where Maduro lived, or yeah, 1,000 people. So there you go. Roy Watson, I placed an order for a 100-gram silver bar from H&T Pawnbrokers for 240 um, pounds last weekend. The day after all this news hot, they took all the silver bars off their website. Still waiting for silver. Yeah, there's an H&T pawnbroker around where I live. Um, yeah, sometimes I find some good deals there. Um, yeah, I think that's interesting. Yeah. That's the thing. We might not be able to get any physical silver, coins or bars, but they might still be able to smash the paper price, which doesn't really mean anything. Eventually, the price will catch up. Hannah says, thanks for having the last minute video today. Makes me feel better hearing you put things into perspective. Oh, you're welcome. Adrian, G8DE. Mara, I see that if they beat down the silver price, it goes up even more. Silver made already. Yeah, I know there's a lot of big people with big, well, people and nations with big pockets. They're taking these smashes as an opportunity to buy the real physical silver. And that's why I think, yeah, it's going to keep going higher. Oh yeah, I also heard from my friend who has very good sources, and we know already that India is buying a lot of silver, and so is Saudi Arabia now. And in the last few months, apparently they've been buying like 55 million ounces together a month. And if you multiply that by 12, that's like 660 million ounces a year. And silver mine production is about 800 million to 820 million ounces. So just those two countries are buying 20% of all the silver. So I think Venezuela is not just about Venezuela, it's about the whole of South America. The Americans are telling the Chinese and other countries, we're going to be in charge here. We're going to get the silver because China and Russia, I think they have a lot of interest in South America, especially in the mining sector. It will be interesting to see how it evolves. Darrow, roughly 2807, nearly sold silver to finalize the mortgage. I could not part with it. I kind of understand that. Fury Flower Girl, junk silver for Fury Flower Girl, excuse me, junk silver for trading, vintage fairs. Many aren't keeping track of what's going on here in England. Yeah, no, I agree. I have I've been adding junk silver as well. Fury Flower Girl. I think many 99 or even more percent of people here have no idea about what's going on to their currency. I mean, yesterday all the talk was that the FTSE was trading at 10,000, but if you look at the price of the FTSE in gold, Since the beginning of the century, it's like a one-way street lower, right? Pakistan Zindagud. This reminds me of the Chappelle show skit. What are you going to do? Sanction me with what? With what army? USA president. Tony Dalton says it's a shame that much of the US oil reserves are under Venezuela. Well, the thing about US oil, uh, I've always thought that there's loads of oil. That's what we've been told in the North Slope of Alaska. Why not why not explore and drill that oil? Why go to a foreign country, take over it, and do it like that? I thought it would be much simpler to do it in your own country. It would save a lot of aggravation, but maybe it costs less just to invade a weaker nation, a weak country, and get their oil and just leave the oil in Alaska. Uh, it's just I just don't get it. Ryan Morosi, can the markets be checked on a Saturday? Not really. No, you need to wait till 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow when the futures open. Maybe the gold and silver could be checked tomorrow. I think some of the Middle Eastern countries are open, like Dubai. But I've heard the silver's trading like around $100 or more in Dubai. Mandrews, 1245. Where did you get your news from about the silver being transported out of Venezuela? That did you get that from Asian guy, the AI guy? Because if you did, it's probably not true. Will oil get cheaper? Maybe that it will open lower, like the knee-jerk reaction, but I don't think this Venezuela situation changes much in the medium term, maybe in the long term, but I don't know why people worry so much about oil. Uh, yeah, it's not what causes inflation, people. What causes inflation is the Fed printing $105 billion in a month. That's inflation. That's probably what they don't want you to look at, right? They want you to focus, Trump is going to say we're going to bring oil prices down and bring inflation down, but that's rubbish. Uh, oil does is oil doesn't cause inflation. Inflation is the overissuance of currency out of thin air. Just AB Esquire, pleased to say that I managed to buy 10 ounces of previously owned VAT-free silver yesterday. They were sold out in minutes. They were just over they were just over 35% over spot. Well, that's quite a bit, but no VAT. That's a good thing. Even though I think in the long term the VAT won't really matter. R. Elka says, love live chat with Monaco64. Thank you. Sean De Silvix, how did you calculate US dollar reaching GBP parity this year? Well, you don't really calculate things like that. You look at the chart and you see it's possible. I mean, the pound, I've got some numbers here. The price of gold in pounds was up 53% this last year. In dollars, it was up 64.7. So the pound was actually up 8% last year versus the dollar. But I think this year it could go down. Um, the chart doesn't look very good. It could be this year, maybe next year we go 1 to 1, but I think in the long term it will eventually go 1 to 1. Uh, 1 pound used to buy $4.87 up until the beginning of World War One, and that was the weight of gold, right? For a pound and for a dollar, that's how you used to get that. But ever since World War One, the pound has been in terminal decline versus the dollar. And I think eventually it could be this year or maybe next year or the year after. We'll see 1 to 1. John M. Knox says we will see gold and silver fall further. In my opinion, my honest opinion, this year it will be a great time to buy more. Um, I mean, it hasn't really fallen much. We're near all-time highs in silver and gold. Yeah, maybe it could, but usually in January, the seasonality of gold and silver usually is a bullish period. I personally think gold and silver are going to keep going up until early spring, and then we might correct, and then probably would be a good time to buy. But as I say, anytime is a good time to buy as long as you don't chase it. Anytime is a good time to get rid of fiat currency. Mr. BAU79, thank you for being a moderator. It says season's greeting, Mario and people. Strike the like button. Yeah, thank you. Rory Watson, anyone hitting the charity shops yet, clearing the junk silver? Well, actually, I think the charity shops they twigged onto that years ago already, and whenever they get silver or silver coins, uh, they sell it to dealers and stuff because um, they know it's worth something. Yeah, that's what I've learned. That's why I don't go into charity shops anymore. They don't have any of that. Warning signs, stay healthy, everyone. God bless everyone here. Going to tend the grandchildren now, teaching them our leaders are not to be trusted, to trust God. Well, I think that's a good that's good advice. Rudy, he approves of every video. There he is. There's Rudy. Uh, just to let you know, the merchandise store, the Rudy merchandise store, we have 10% off still. And I'd like to thank a lot of you. You bought a lot of merchandise in December. And Karen, the lady who runs the shop, who had the idea, she's designing some new mugs. They should be ready soon. One is related to this editorial, going gold. And the other one, I'm not sure, but yeah, she keeps like increasing the diversity of the merchandise, and yeah, 10% off. I've got the Gnome of Zurich mug, Keepers of Sound Money. So let's see, she's done another mug. Let's see. Oh yeah, she's done a Hi-Ho silver mug. And she said that it was Michael Oliver, who I had on the other day, who was very bullish silver, who inspired her. So she said it will be ready soon, those mugs. And anyway, I'm gonna get a couple. Daryl, roughly, has China sanctioned COMEX with their new licensing method? I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. It's still early doors. China was closed yesterday. Uh, I did an interview with Eric Young, which is coming out tomorrow morning, where we talk about this. Yeah, I think you guys will like that interview with Eric Young. He's very thorough. He does his research. Um, just ABESQ, 35% over spot is a bit high, but I'm not worried about that. I agree. What's more important is that you have the silver. Blue Water Stacks, thank you for your super chat. Fantastic channel, Mario. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, and thank you for those kind words. Toke RFX. Hello, Mario. I appreciate your time. Do you think the recent news will make the dollar decline further? I think there could be a knee-jerk reaction to the Venezuela news, and the dollar could rally. But I'm bearish. The dollar it doesn't look technically it doesn't look very good, and I think the Federal Reserve is gonna put the foot. Well, they're putting the foot down the accelerator in terms of money printing, and I think they're gonna be forced to cut rates aggressively going forward. I'm hearing the non-farm payroll number that's coming out on Friday is going to be a very weak one. So. That's why I'm a bit bearish. Dollar, in terms of the other currencies, I'm bearish the dollar and all other currencies, of course, against gold. They're all sinking, as I've always said. ASC 63 Funky. Mario, I think the telling thing about COMEX is the margin collateral going up. This tells you physical is short. Yeah, uh, yeah, that's right. Well, they the big paper shorts are usually the bullion banks, and they have access to credit, instant credit from the Federal Reserve. So if they raise the margins, they're going to be able to cope better than the speculators, the hedge funds, and the traders. And that's why, when silver goes down massively, you don't see the COMEX really increasing margins. It's more when it goes up because the game is to try to keep silver suppressed as much as possible. But if it's going up, that's a problem. And that's why they raise margins. And it's going up, like you said, because people want physical. COMEX is not supposed to be a physical market. The people that are taking delivery on COMEX, they didn't get the memo, right? Anyway, Parents 57, thank you for your super chat. My goal is for retirement, but should have but uh, should have I view silver differently and sell for profit later this year. Blessed New Year to you. So I guess your question is, should I use silver more as speculation and sell it for profit this year? You could, but I would put that profit back in gold. Or and maybe I guess if you want to spend some of your fiat, yeah, why not? Or maybe sell 75% of your silver if you do well with it. Buy a little bit of gold with that and do whatever else you want. That's the way I see it. Not advice, it's probably what I would do. Dipin 001, I randomly come across this channel not too long ago. I have learned a lot from you, at Monaco 64. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you feel that way. That's what I try to do here. My mule don't like you laughing. Hank McGurk. All right. He's got a mule. Blow bubbles 2034. I'm getting out of the UK for 3 months, going over to Croatia and then going to Wonder. Matt Bittner says maybe Asian guy is Peter Schiff. You never know. ASC 63 Funky. Thanks, Mario. The chips got more expensive. Top-notch investors who will kidnap D. Trump. I think he's probably got, I don't know, there's more of a chance that he's kidnapped at home. I don't know. G. Godfrey's, thank you for your super chat. Thank you, Myra, for your ears of no BS information. Happy New Year. Oh, thank you. Happy New Year to you too. The Dan, the Dan 717. Thank you for your super chat. Is the AI Asian guy refers to a popular AI generated talking avatar available in CapCut. Warrior Invictus. Mario, you ever going to have the balls to call out our own government? What are you talking about? The government in the UK? Of course. I call them out all the time. Um, yeah, I mean, they're destroying the economy. They're like censoring people on social media. Yeah, they're pandering. Yeah, no, they're like wasting our taxpayer money in Ukraine and other places. I guess that's what you mean. But I try to stick more to economics, money, and try to help people financially. Yes, and I will look at governments, what they do fiscally and monetarily. A lot of times it's not worth, there's a lot of people already looking at these things. But, I'm the one who tells people don't finance the government, get rid of your fiat currency, don't buy gilts. I mean, I don't know what else you want from me, but I think it's silly to try to get too personal about these things because it takes away from the important message that you should look after yourself, really. Keston Bay Raktar. Hey, Mary, do you think the capture of Maduro, not Madura, his name is Maduro, not Madura, it's like calling Robert Roberta, was too set up and just a quick distraction from what's going on with the silver and people are waking up? I'm not sure. There are people who are saying that Maduro was yeah, he was there ready for it. It was set up. You never know. I don't know. And I'm not sure it's got anything to do with silver, really. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Ryan Prechik. Sorry, Mary, but only the USA is America. The people from other countries in and South America are not routinely referred to as Americans. Okay. South Americans are South Americans. Um, I think in the US you're referred to a Floridian or a New Yorker, right? But fine, yeah, you Americans, yeah, I guess so. North Americans or Americans. Sean, the Silvix on your live stream a few days ago, someone said after the crash, a family would again be able to live on income equivalent to purchasing power parity of $150,000 a year. I guess a year. Why is that? Um, I don't remember that. But I guess it depends what your savings are in. When there is like a crash, prices all come down, right? And the life becomes cheaper. But if you've got the cash, if you got gold and silver, yeah, you could live off a lot less than you previously could. That's probably why he said that. Pakistan's in the good. 300 billion barrels of oil in Venezuela. Where is it? Oh, I lost it now. Okay. Solar Drew, tarnish affect the value of secondary silver rounds? Does tarnish? Not really. No, it shouldn't. Silver's silver, but maybe that's why gold is a little, it's always been more valuable because gold doesn't tarnish. Matt Bittner, do you know Maduro was a bus driver before being president? Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I did read about that. He was very religious as well. I saw a clip today on on Twitter. He considered himself practicing Catholic or Christian. Mike Nunea, 3655, Venezuelan people are celebrating in the streets and thankful for Trump. Facts. Yeah, I'm sure there are. There are also other people who aren't happy about what's happened. It's not, I don't think all Venezuelans are happy, probably. Like, during the US Revolutionary War, you had the Tories. There were a lot of people that were against, were pro George III. So, and I think in the beginning of the revolution, it was only 5% of the population that rose up. Ryan Morosi, what does von Mises say happens after hyperinflation? Well, yeah, people always revert to sound money. That's right. I haven't really looked exactly what he says. I've looked at what causes the hyperinflation, but yeah, you have to resort to something that people will trust. And for the last 2,500 years, that's always been gold and silver. Gallic Crow says, I live in Oxford. I think most people don't give a hoot about the monarchy. We have far bigger problems. I agree. I agree with you. I guess the only plus side of the monarchy is that it it, it gives the country stability. Like, but yeah, I think most people could care less if there was a monarchy or not. Yeah, my cold, yeah, it's lingered a long time, but it's much better now. I'm not playing golf. The golf courses are closed right now because we've had snow, a little bit of snow. So anyway, echo, echo. Do you think uh, UK will soon do lots of QE? Do you expect that to raise house prices? Uh, yeah, I think they will do QE again in the UK. Whether it will raise house prices by 100K, I'm not too sure. Amused reindeer. Mario, thank you for your time. This is one step closer to the reset or prolonging the inevitable. I think it's a step closer to the reset because de-dollarization is going to accelerate after what happened today in Venezuela, in my opinion, my humble opinion. I think the rest of the world doesn't see this as a win. It's a win for Donald, but not for the rest of the world. And I think they're gonna keep preparing, uh, try to be sovereign, just like we try to be sovereign. I'm not saying, uh, all other governments and countries in the world are like saints because they're not, but they're gonna look after their interests, just like we should. Attorney Michael Eline, thank you for your super chat. Will metals benefit from this war, Mario? Is this a BRICS proxy war? I guess it is. It's the first, uh, pun intended, it's the first brick to fall, right? Even though I don't think Venezuela is part of BRICS, but they probably were looking to become part of BRICS. Maybe that's what the Chinese delegation was there uh, trying to arrange. I think metals will benefit. Yeah. Uh, Not sure what will happen tomorrow night when they open, but long term, I'm still bullish. I think it was Greenspan who said that in extremis, i.e., in times of war and turbulence and chaos, fiat currency is really not a good way to do business between sovereign countries. That only gold and silver will do, and that's why I think we're going to continue to see them going up. So, yeah, TW7194. This is the last one I'll look at. It's almost time to call it a night. It says apparently Kier invaded three Ukrainian rent boys this weekend. Well, that's a good way to end. And with that, I'm going to wish you all a happy new year and a great rest of the weekend. And thank you all for being here. And hopefully, we'll have many more of these